Kaufman, the travel mom, and it's time for another travel talk. Wellness travel encompasses body, mind, and spirit. And the team at Miraval has put together exceptional programming so you can experience all of that. Today, I'm excited to be talking with one of the visiting specialists at Miraval, Tina Powers. Hi, Tina.
Hi, Emily.
So where are you right now?
I'm sorry, what was that, honey?
Where are you right now?
I'm in Tucson, Arizona right now, not far from Miraval. And you know Tucson as well, huh?
I do know Tucson as well, but first I want you to explain, what is it that you do at Miraval as a visiting specialist?
So a visiting specialist, I go there probably once a month for about a week at a time. I'm fortunate enough to be a part of the Miraval team, which is an amazing place to work. It's so interesting because I used to work as a reporter, Emily, and I remember getting their press kit when I was in my 30s. I'm not going to say what I'm in now. And all of a sudden I go, what is this Miraval? And so I've been working there since about 2007. So I get to visit there, I get to work with people, do lectures, workshops, and have a part of a community of healers there that I just admire and adore.
So what is your specialty that you focus on at Miraval?
So my specialty is, I guess I'm what's called a psychic medium. And so I always preface it with that I used to be a news reporter and anchor, so I at least bring some platform to that of, I had to go on the air every day with facts. So it took a long time for me to end up doing readings and sessions in my life. I realized at a young age that I could see people from another realm. I didn't know what that was when I was little, except for it just scared me. So when I got out of television news and the negativity of that, don't get me wrong, there were a lot of things that were really wonderful about it. But as far as the news, a lot of times I found myself feeling, ending up being a grief counselor, which was crossing the line. So now I talk to people who some people don't see, and they think that they're like, what is this? I need some evidence. And so I sit with them, I open up, I say a prayer, I'm there to help. So my hope is that I give information that'll make somebody feel confident that their loved one, that their guide, their purpose, that somehow they've gotten something special from this.
Well, I think we need to let everybody in on our backstory together, because Miraval brought us together again. So we were super close in college, which is why when you mentioned I know Tucson, because I do know Tucson, we went to school there together. And you and I had so much fun together in college, and life kind of took its own paths, and I moved away and got married and had kids, and you continued with the reporting career and got married and did your own thing, and we had lost contact. So why don't you take it from there?
Well, I was doing a reading for a woman who, I think she was an editor at People magazine, right? And she was very skeptical, and there's something about being very healthy skeptical. And I have to tell you, skeptics, the word comes from just another solution in Greek. So my understanding is that she took the recording of our reading to you. Unbeknownst, I didn't even know you were at Miraval at that time. I hadn't even talked to you in 25, 30 years. So you heard my voice on a reading and gave me a call. And we basically cried saying, how could this be? But it's so, we were supposed to come back together as friends, and our paths go in and out, but this was pretty powerful. So when I heard your voice on my voicemail, I almost fell over.
Well, Tina, I didn't know that you were Tina Powers. I knew you your maiden name, and ironically, Tina Powers becomes Tina Powers, like a legit last name.
Well, and so sometimes people are like, did you make that up? And I'm like, no, it was actually my married name. So I didn't, but sure, you're like, So what did you think, Emily? Was that just a moment for you?
Well, what was so crazy is I had just met this woman as well. We were both there doing a visit, and we just kind of clicked with each other and sat with each other and hung out. And she said, you know, I've always been skeptical of these kind of things, but this woman hit something spot on with me. She goes, let me play a little piece of it for you. I heard your voice. I immediately knew, oh, that's Tina. And I had met another woman in the gift shop while I was there that was doing a graduate work with the power of stones. And she felt compelled to tell me that she wanted to gift me this one necklace. And she just felt like she needed to give it to me, and she didn't know why. Ironically, that woman was staying with you in your house during that time.
Okay, so here's the thing about divine intervention. You can't make this up. I do believe we have destiny points with people, and it's so wonderful when it supersedes a logical mind, and it's very magical. And I'm so grateful because you and I had so much fun in college.
We certainly did, and we're having fun again now. You know, Tina, sometimes people are a little nervous or anxious, or they don't want to get a reading. They're fearful of it. Is there anything you can say to people who are questioning, should I or shouldn't I do something in that, to give them a little peace of mind?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know what? I want to say to you, the people who are doing it for the right reasons are really there to help. They're not there to scare you. And so I would always say that if you do a reading, trust the way you're feeling when you're in the reading, because it's just like being a parent. Our guides, our helpers, our loved ones aren't going to want to scare us or be mean or tell us something nasty or try to control a situation. So if you in any way, and I'm talking about you as the viewer, feel uneasy, if you feel I want to always remind you that you have the capability to go, you know what, this isn't maybe the right match. But what I'll say to you when I've been doing this for 16 or 17 years, and I really didn't know that I would do this work, is that I always open up for the highest and the best to come through. And so my intention is that the person I'm sitting with feels that. So sometimes, inside of all of us, we have our tools, we have our knowings. It's just sometimes we forget and we can forget about purpose, or we have karma with individuals where it gets really gritty. We don't know how to work our way out of it. And sometimes a psychic medium can help with that. Also, it is a little, when people used to show up in my room as a child, and even then, it can be disconcerting because in our physical body, we're like, wait a minute, what's happening, because we're not in control. But we really are. We can have boundaries. We can turn something off. We can say, no, that doesn't work for me. Or we can ask just not to be able to see or feel. But my hope is to open people up or help them in a safe way at a gradient, that there's this whole other dimension. It's very magical. And if we can have the bigger picture and remember that, then it can be a little bit better while we're here on Earth.
The Miraval website has a lot of information about your lectures and your workshops and when you come to visit. If people would like to learn more about you, where can they find that?
Sure. Well, they can go to tinapowers.com, but the Miraval website, under specialists and under visiting specialists, you can read about those of us who do work. There's sound healers. There's Wyatt Webb, who's a dear friend, who's an amazing equine therapist who I go to many times. So you can just look around on that site a little bit more. I know in September, I'm offering a workshop on developing your intuition. So I love to help people learn to trust themselves more in what they're receiving.
That sounds like a workshop I would love to participate.
I think you need to come.
I'm going to do my very best. I'm going to do my very best to be there. Tina, thank you so much for sharing what you do at Miraval. Miraval to me is the ultimate body, mind, spirit, perfect wellness vacation. As Simon, who runs the wellness program, shared with me, Miraval meets you where you are. And if you're really completely into all the spirituality, there's great stuff for you. If you're just dipping your toe in the water, great stuff for you there as well. Tina, I'm grateful we got to talk.
Me too. I just absolutely love it. And thank you, Emily.
Thank you.